Hey, team players, welcome back. Today's going to be an awesome one. We got all kinds of draft information coming at you. We're going to be doing at least one here, Underdog draft. And one of the things that we're going to really focus on here is this is 2026. We do not have the updated ADPs lining up yet. This is really just going off of feel and seeing where your best perks are. And we're really excited for what today's going to be. It's an exciting draft. I'm sure we're going to get moments where Bob hates who he's got and I love who I got and vice versa. But let's dive right into it, Bob. Who are you looking at doing? What do you really want to accomplish today?
Well, as you guys know, I was besmirching going high tight ends yesterday. And when we went off air, I actually did 2 drafts where I was able to get high profile tight ends, 2 high profile tight ends. And it really, the way I feel about these teams is much different than I feel about teams on a regular basis. But there's, being this is a 20 max tournament, I do want to have some variety in my lineups to see what's going on and to have, if some of these guys do pop off, I want to have some of them. But one of the things that I've noticed is that when we talk about running backs and wide receivers, and we talked about this last year, Joe, and you can share a little bit about your opinion on this as well. But when we talked about running backs last year and the year before, quite honestly, too, we were talking about how having 2 to 3 high-end running backs is not a bad idea.
No, not.
And I do think that for me right now, going into these drafts, I think the limit for me in the first 4 rounds is 2. And this is why, is that from what I did yesterday after we went off air and what we did on air, is that there is a crop. And while I'm okay with this crop, hey, Jamie, while I'm okay with this crop of wide receivers that's happening in that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th rounds right in there, they do all have similar-ish outcomes, right? Mm-hmm. Where they're going to be those guys that may reach 1,000 yards, but more than likely probably we appreciate you, Jamie, but probably ending up in that like 800, 5 touchdown, 6 touchdown kind of space. And I want to try as much as possible. And I think that everybody should be doing this. Try as much as possible to get one of those or 2 of the high profile wide receivers, because this is what we know is true, is that when one wide receiver goes down, there is not exactly an immediate replacement that is necessarily lined up. There's a distribution, right? So let's say, for example, Ladd goes down. All of those targets don't necessarily go to Keenan Allen. They'll go to QJ, they'll go to Rondé Gatson, they'll be there. But when a running back goes down, there's immediately then a vacuum where either 1 or 2 people, and sometimes if you're the Denver Broncos, 3 people take his place. And so, what I want to focus on is getting 2, maybe even 1 high-profile running backs in that first 4 rounds, and then shooting the shots at some of these guys in the later rounds to take advantage of some of that value, that high-end value at tight end that we talked about. And I'm still avoiding quarterbacks in that 3rd, 4th, 5th round, to be honest with you, because I don't think the value is good. But I do believe that Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, particularly Brock Bowers in this scenario, and I just want to chat about him for a moment before we get into a draft, that I think Brock Bowers is a great value in the 2nd round. I think that when we look at Trey McBride gets the Brock Bowers experience from last year. And when we look at Trey, there's no reason why he can't be successful again this year. He had over like 100 targets, 100 catches, things like that. It is more likely that Trey McBride goes back down to like maybe like 80 catches, which is still a stellar year for him and for a tight end, right? But where Brock Bowers, I think, value is, and he's going to be one of my targets depending on where I land in the 2nd round, is that I think that his come up, actually, new coach, new quarterback, and lots of different changing pieces. And to be quite honest, he had a great year last year when you consider that he's been injured for a very large part of that and came back and played injured. And so I think that out of that grouping, I think that I want to focus a little bit more on tight ends this episode and taking a higher priority tight end than the lower end tight ends. And here's why. Is that depending on how you view it, and we're a grouping of people here at Local Football Flavor that we love the low end tight ends, we do think that there's a lot of value in those tight ends that can be gotten at the lower ranges. And we mostly want to stay away from those mid-range guys because any one of those guys, they're kind of like interchangeable from a stat perspective in a way. But what I want to do is I want to try to hit one of those high-profile guys, and then I want to take one of those mid-range guys, and then I want to forget about tight end until maybe the last round. Or
I'm good with that.
This is where this also plays a role into. It opens up it opens up George Kittle, right? Is that if you take a guy that you know or you believe is going to be a high producer and relatively healthy per se over the entirety of the season, that it opens up the door for a Kittle in the later rounds. And we've seen this from some drafters that we've been with so far, is that I really do think that if I have Tyler Warren, I'm not as comfortable getting into George Kittle. But if I have a Brock Bowers or a Trey McBride, and I come back and I'm deciding, do I want to take a Tucker Kraft maybe? Do I want to split in there with George Kittle? I think it can be done, and I think it can be done well. But it does put you into this dilemma then where how am I going to attack these wide receivers? Because you are going to lock yourself out of a high grouping of wide receivers, or you're going to lock yourself out of the running backs, and you're going to have to take some chances. And so
Bob,
this episode, we'll talk about those chances.
Play out. You ready to fire it up?
Some of those chances. Are we doing a little board?
Yeah, we'll do a little board. So anyone can jump in. This is basically a little board testing out the system, starting it now.
All right. Entering now.
What is this crap? Location services denied.
Oh, it's
you
filling
getting that
up.
problem too?
Nope, it's filling up. It's filling up. Oh, you missed it. All right, I'll stream mine.
Here, just send me the link. I'll put it up.
All right. Cool. All right, so Joe is going to copy. That's one of those things where we had on the where you got to use your phone.
We went Underdog against Underdog for so long. They don't like the fact I'm sitting here in Pittsburgh.
Well,
I'm like pro Underdog. Not in PA or something.
I'm definitely pro Underdog. All right, so we're sitting at 8 here. We're sitting at 8. And this is the perfect opportunity to take a Trey McBride here early or wait to the second round to get Brock Bowers. And I think I'm going to wait to the second round to get Brock. And I'm going to take whatever wide receiver I can get here, potentially. Or if James Cook is there, I'll probably take James Cook. With the hiring of Joe Brady as the head coach and as the play caller, and knowing that James Cook is one of those high-profile touchdown guys, I really do.
It's not letting me watch the draft. You got to broadcast it yourself up.
Really? Interesting. Mm-hmm. All right. So it's really one of those things where I stop screen share. All right. So let me share screen. 6 picks away. All right. Can you see it now?
Yep.
So either I'm going to be taking at the 8 here. I'm either going to be taking James Cook or Amon-Ra. I don't have a problem with either of these guys. I do think that it does, as we talked about last time, I do think it is a value to go after a high-profile running back because that well tends to dry up a little bit faster. But also, with Bucky Irving looming in the 3rd round potentially, I am okay if I pass on him. So I'm going to go with Amon-Ra here, get a wide receiver. And what I'm hoping for here is that Brock Bowers skates back into the 2-5 here.
Yep.
And I just think that it opens what I've said about Colston Loveland, I think is true. I don't think that Colston you saw me take Colston Loveland in the 4th round, guys. And while I don't think that he's like going to have a terrible year by any stretch of the imagination, I do think a 4th round Colston Loveland is a little bit higher than what his perceived value can be going into next year. We have to remember it's like this year, rookie blue, like, the rookie waiting kind of getting going in the season. The end of the season's a little bit better. But when you look at it, he's a very skilled player, but they're going to spread the ball around there too. And so it's not like he's going to get, like, if you go back and look at targets, he's pretty much got the same amount of targets that a guy like Cole Kmet would have gotten. So I might get Trey McBride here too. Let's see what happens here.
Oh, you might. Now, given the choice, would you rather have Trey or would you rather have Bowers?
I'd rather have Trey. I like both. I like both. But like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, I do think that Trey McBride can have a fall off because, is it necessarily that he's going to get 100 some targets this season?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. But I do think that some drafts, again, this is going to be typically the draft where you're going to get Brock Bowers in the second round. But when you're at that turn, that first, second, third, fourth pick, Brock is definitely a great pick there. There's a lot of uncertainty with how the distribution of targets will go for some of these wide receivers. And basically, Brock Bowers, there's no question that he's going to return back to being a great asset. Like, looking at it, even in a year full of IR, Joe, Brock Bowers here had 86 targets.
Yeah, that is crazy amount. And really bad quarterback play.
Really terrible quarterback play, to be honest.
You got to figure Mendoza is going to be vastly better than what they were trucking out there.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not vastly better, it's at least something, right? It will be at least something, a modicum better here. So if I'm the Bijan guy, I'm probably thinking, yeah, I don't want Olave. I probably am going to go Bowers. Jeremiah Love falling. There you go.
Jeremiah Love, man. I love him so much. And to see that he's going towards the end of the second, it's sad and great news.
It depends on the drafter. It depends on the drafter.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of Rashee Rice. The Kansas City Chiefs in general accept more crappy players in terms of their off-field personalities than any other organization, yet they don't ever get called on it. And the reality is that there's a good chance, Bob, the more I'm diving into an article was just released today about the girlfriend on Instagram. It's looking like there could be a lot of ugliness coming the Rashee Rice way, which it makes him an even harder pick because if he plays, he's a home run, but he could be out of the league.
Well, I've gotten burnt so many times. So many times on Rice last year. So it's like, and here's the other thing too, as you watch your draft board, it's like, adjusting when adjusting seems relevant is that you look at it, everybody on the other side of me here has running backs. So they are going to target wide receivers potentially. If something happens here and they end up going after running backs and I end up getting another wide receiver, I'm okay with that too, because there's still talent left on the board. This round, this 1, 2, and 3 is just so interesting right now where how some of these players are being placed. Like, you'll see Olave as high as the 212, right? You'll see Scadaboo as high as the 4-1 because he seems to be at that cusp of, what other running backs do I actually want here? And that's where you get like guys like Colston Loveland. Like Colston Loveland there, would he be a great pick? Maybe. I'm going to go Zay here. I haven't gone Zay in a while. Zay finished as a 7th wide receiver in half PPR last year in a down year for the Baltimore Ravens. New coaching staff, new things going on. Do they use him a little bit differently? I'm willing to take a chance on something like that. Now, that Colston Loveland pick there, Joe, in the 4th round, it feel like, I know what we've said before, but like, he seems to be like that last kind of like, okay, I could see some greatness this year, and there's not a lot of question marks to his situation. Then you look at Trevion, Igbuka, Judkins, and you're like, there's going to have to be some moving parts and things that happen there in order for that to be relevant. You get what I'm saying?
Totally get what you're saying.
And Devontae Adams here at 4'11", if all of those pieces come back, that's going to be a tremendous value.
So I do worry about your running back state though, Bob, because after the 4th round, there's really nothing left. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are going in the 3rd and 2nd round that I'm not a fan of. Maybe I'm getting running back spoiled in my hoarding old age, but that's a big reality of what I'm seeing here is there's a lot of guys I don't like. Like Williams, I like him at the price, I guess, but I don't love him.
No, I mean, I fully understand where you're going with that, and I get it, and like, and the thing is, for me, it's that, as I said earlier, this could be another year where running backs don't get hurt. Okay,
It could be.
and
It's
and it could
unlikely,
be,
but it could
and it
be.
could be that way. But as you're looking at this board, right,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing you, there are, and I'll get to it after my next pick here. And you see, there's still a lot of talent on the board.
Swift, I'd go with Swift over Devontae if that's your debate.
Will
But it's your
Swift
call,
even
obviously.
continue to have that job? Like, I might double tap it. Who knows?
We'll see.
I
You're
would
up now.
rather,
You're on the clock.
yeah, I would rather take Terry there.
All right, you need to convince me on Scary Terry because I am radically falling off the cliff. I think he's falling off a cliff.
I'm not going to try to convince you about Terry McLaurin, but what I am going to say is that last year you had injuries paired with quarterbacks injuries paired with bad situations, and he's a guy that when you look across the way at all these wide receivers that are taken at this point in time, that they all have similar deficits in terms of, Terry McLaurin can go anywhere from the 5'8" to the 6'11", in my opinion. Okay. And he opens the door to possibly taking Jaden Daniels if you want him. And I've seen people pot shot that at 60, 61. They'll take Terry McLaurin.
Remember last year, did in the second and third round, and how much that didn't work.
But he's potentially 1,000-yard guy with 8 touchdown upside. And if things hit right in Washington, tell me another target in Washington.
I mean, right now there's not. That's part of why I don't like him. He's not able to separate like the other ones who are the sole target guys.
Now I could pass on Williams and go Waddle here, but I'm still only left with one.
I would rather have taken Waddle where you took McLaurin. I think Waddle was heavily slept upon.
I agree. The reason I didn't necessarily take Waddle there is that I have him in a couple other ones. And just trying something different here. I don't normally take
distribution, baby.
So when I look at this team right now, you look at Amon-Ra, Zay Flowers, Terry McLaurin, Bucky Irving, Javonte Williams, Trey McBride. Would this team have been better with Derrick Henry, Jeremiah Love, Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown? Maybe. Would it have been better necessarily with J. Jeff, Olave, Nico Pickens? The wide receivers, it's any one of those guys absolutely could pop. And the thing is that there is still there's question marks to all of those wide receivers that are in this frame right here, from Jefferson all the way down to Olave. Olave is health. Nico is health and quarterback play. Jefferson is quarterback play. Rice is suspension. George Pickens is mindset.
Yeah.
Tet would be quarterback play, and Higgins will be what he is.
Higgins might be the staples of that group.
And so there's a lot of question marks when we look at some of those situations, right? Jalen Warren is on the board. Could go Jalen in 7 picks if he's still there. We could see. I want to go Monangai. I think I like Monangai a little bit better than Swift.
I can see that. Monangai is certainly the power one, and Johnson's already traded Swift once. Who's to say he won't do it again?
The question is, do we go double running back here, or do we take Jaden Daniels to go with Terry and risk losing out on Monangai?
How many backs do you have? Just the 2, right?
Just the 2. And Jalen Warren is here too. Do you think that McCarthy will use Warren?
I think McCarthy's going to use Warren a lot. He emphasized in that press conference, his introductory press conference, the need to run the ball.
All right, we'll scooch him up. And there goes Jaden Daniels. So that I'm very curious about that plan. There goes Jalen Warren. Okay.
So it kind of took care of itself. You get Monungai by default.
All right. So we take Monungai here. A little bit. I would like to wait to the next round, but looking at the distribution of running backs, I think that they'll take another one. Parker Washington will go next, somewhere in here. And you see, like in this draft specifically, we're looking at the quarterbacks being pushed up the board again.
Mm-hmm.
6th, 7th round, quarterbacks being pushed up the board again. Now, is the value on Monungai great right now? No. ADP sitting at 86 for a situation where it could be a split backfield again. That's something to think about. And because I don't have another running back here, I can go. There goes Bashal too. And I was going to go him. Does Dable use Tony Pollard more? Does Dable use? I mean, Tony Pollard's had 1,000-yard season in the last 5 years.
That part is amazing to me.
All right. I mean, like, what are we doing here with Pollard? Will QJ look better with McDaniels?
I think that's a given. I think that him and Trey Harris are the two winners with that.
So do we go the wide receiver or the running back here? Got 3 and 3.
I would go receiver.
All right. So we're sitting here with.
You also can get a Charger stack at this point relatively easily.
No.
You said you want to do cheat late tight ends.
Herbie's gone. Aronde Gadsden's gone. Aronde Gadsden went 6th round.
What is going on in this draft?
Yeah.
Who's pushing quarterbacks up so high in your world? Oh, time out. Someone tell me why Aronde Gadsden is going in the 4th round? Well, I need an explanation on that. With this being our de facto tight end show.
In this draft.
Yeah, but why? I need an explanation about why he's even considered before Laporta.
So there goes
enforcing a stack.
There goes Kittle in the 8th round.
That feels right. Laporta, I feel, should be higher.
Feels right. Kittle's ADP is sitting at 129, pick 92. So taking him quite a bit ahead of the ADP.
I love getting your guys.
I do, but like when we're looking for value, though, that's not the way to. That's not necessarily the way to do that.
No, that is. Well, speaking of which, when all those people are flying up, who is the values who are sitting on the board right now?
I would say if you're looking for a quarterback, Bo Nix. We're looking for a wide receiver. Xavier Worthy's sitting right here. Michael Pittman is.
Well, say this another way. Who's the highest person? What pick are you at, and where are you at with ADP? If you sort by ADP,
my pick is 104. The next highest person by ADP is Michael Pittman.
And he's at in the 80s.
And that's who I'm taking. I mean, I think
Pittman's a fine choice.
I think in the 9th round, I'm willing to take a chance on him in the 9th. Now we're getting into the depths of potential quarterback hell soon.
So you gotta probably jump on one.
Everybody but this Holla guy has a quarterback.
You do like riding it deep, Bob. I think it's time to put a little purple in your life.
But I also like Xavier Worthy here. If he leaves Bo Nix on the board, I will take Xavier Worthy. Or I'll take Bo Nix if he leaves Bo Nix on the board. But also, I like Tyler Algier here, and I like Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt here.
See, I would take the quarterback before both of them. I understand the Worthy pick.
There goes Worthy. We'll take Bo. No stacking.
Worthy is a guy. So there's a couple receivers I really like a lot. Mm-hmm. Worthy and Dobbs are two that really come up high upon the list. Dobbs, because I believe there's a very good chance he ends up being in Buffalo. And that is just scary awesome. And Worthy is, if Rice gets suspended, they got to get the ball to him. I mean, they might have to get the ball to him anyway. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why I'm really leaning on Worthy having a big year coming out of it.
And that's fair. By the way, I'm also, knowing that Tennessee just hired Dable, I'm probably going to take Spears here. Just because with Dable as coach, Tracy did pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
until he got hurt. So
Do you think that's a good signing?
It's how I feel about a lot of things lately, Joe. It's very much. I'm not upset by it. Like I'm not gonna like beat down Tennessee's like front office, but I'm also like whatever. It's really like whatever.
All right, the family sent us one of his dynasty trades here. He moved Stafford, who was his third quarterback in a Superflex league, for Worthy and a third in 27.
I like it.
I love it actually, because if
like
Stafford retires, you basically got Worthy for nothing, and I love that. I love that. I'm just talking about how I like Worthy moving forward as a dynasty play. He's absolutely someone I want to acquire, and the fact you did it for relatively inexpensive risk, I'm a big fan of that play, family.
Hey Joe, knowing this draft went QB crazy just now.
Mm-hmm.
Do we push?
I think you take Shook.
Do we take Shook?
I think you do.
I really
I
like.
love Shook's game.
I like the idea of Gainwell and Spears.
I really like the coaching more. I like the system they got.
Not that bad in terms of ADP. It's right where he should be going. He should be.
Like, the NFC South plays the AFC North. Cincinnati's defense is a disaster. The Steelers are completely hit or miss, and so is Baltimore's. Plus, the rest of that division is bad. I mean, Shook could be a top 10 quarterback based upon all of the schedule.
So I'm hoping that Spears or Gainwell makes it around to me.
I can say either one of them, quite frankly.
My running back room is pretty weak. I wanted to double dip on running back. I also like Sharps.
So I am biased towards wide receivers or free agents in general, but especially wide receivers and backs, because if you're going to pay for them, you're going to use them. And that's a fact of life. There's very few of the free agents last year that moved around that didn't get used other than the obvious injury risk. Like Najee got hurt. But the rest of them that got bought got used to a point where it's infuriating, like Keenan Allen staying on the same team.
All right, do we go Gainwell or Spears here first? Gainwell?
I think I would go Gainwell because of the free agent angle.
Okay. And hopefully Spears makes it back to me.
And again, there's just something about it is if you pay for someone, you got to use them. And that's just the reality of the game. And we're also in an era.
Well, I mean, it means you're going to use them, but also that maybe it could be that you're not going to use them too much too. You know, I mean, like there's always a chance for that happens.
Oh, that's rare. I mean, they even use Christian Kirk down in Houston in the detriment of developing their two rookies.
And here's I mean, I know that many people are going to disagree with me about this, but I think Jerry Jeudy in the 12th round will not kill you.
Well, no one in the 12th round kills you.
There is a framework that again, Todd Monken just became the head coach there in Cleveland.
That is gross. I did not know that. Oh, what are they gonna do? Just run the ball nonstop? Of course there is. Cleveland.
There is a pathway that Jerry Jeudy will be a guy that catches a decent at least 6 touchdowns.
Tell me this.
I mean, Bateman. You have
had 1 year out of 5.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, all you're looking to do here is capture lightning in a bottle. You're looking for 1 or 2 good games out of a guy you're drafting.
I think the lightning in the bottle went to Judkins and Sampson. Maybe Shador running for his life.
Doesn't look like I'm going to get Spears here. That'd have been really nice.
So Todd Monken is the coach in Cleveland.
Wow. And Schwartz was so upset that he said, "I'm not coming back."
Really? Because he didn't get the job?
Yeah. He was so, like, pissed about it.
So he's retiring?
Well, no. He just said he's not coming back to that. I don't know. I don't know if it's true. I mean, don't quote me on that I think it's true.
You gotta see Schwartz say that to actually believe it.
There goes Dobbins. I was just gonna pick him up. God damn it.
Well, as you're contemplating that, let's dive into Family's next transaction here. Made a risky move, sent Manungai for 2-2, 4-2, and 4-3. Just worried he isn't the running back one. Comps seem to be in early the second mid, so I took it. Dude, I would have rode the dice on Manungai because the rookie that you're going to get at 2-2 is at best the lateral move.
Well, I don't think that.
Although you do need a quarterback now, so stocking up on some of them later quarterbacks as the dart throw isn't a bad play either.
What I don't think is like, here's the thing, family. What I don't think is bad about this move by any stretch of the imagination is when I look at this and I see that you're sitting here with 202, 402, 403. The 202 is still pretty good. I mean, this year particularly there's going to be a bunch of wide receivers, and you could just take one of them, okay? But when you look at the 402 and the 403, where that would be for me is I would start using those picks, whatever I've gained, to just kind of start making different moves. It's not necessarily that I want to keep the 402 or whatever, but like I want to try to use them to build in value, maybe in some other trades that I'm trying to make. So that's like my first, my initial thought with that. Next, I think that losing Manungai isn't the worst in the world. But having those picks to make some moves is great. And people are really not sold on Manungai like yourself. You saw me here take him as my third running back here because the value really tends – it's like a real – like I wanted Warren there, didn't get him. I was hoping for Tootin on the comeback too, didn't get him. But they're like – when you start shopping for some of these running backs, the variable situations are going to be unique. Like for Corum, Marks, etc. These are guys that like I kind of want on my team, but I also don't want to overpay for some of them. And then any of these rookies, like this guy went with 3 rookie running backs in a row, and those are his only running backs on his team to start with. And then Aaron Jones, Dobbins, Mason, like that level of rookie on a best ball team is not where I'm at. Mm-hmm. But from a dynasty perspective, I think that you're going to get over the next 2 years, because of this whole NIL money thing, you're going to get a large quantity of players that are staying in school longer. And
which is nothing wrong with it.
No. But because they're staying in school longer, because they're getting money in school, these are going to be players now that are coming, that when they come out, they've had perceivably a whole system's worth of learning that they have under their belt, right? So it's not going to be anything that's like the 2026 draft is stacked with wide receivers. Not because it's a great draft, it's just that it happens to line up that's because so many wide receivers are coming out this year. And that next year is going to be like running backs and quarterbacks again. So like you're going to have this every so often. And I think that the quantity of players coming out that will be worth selecting is going to be very different than it has been in the past. That's just like my general viewpoint right now, is that because the drafts have been so loaded with people that have entered early, and now the only reason you need to enter early is if you think you're going to be a first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like that's from that perspective, I think that it's I think it's unique enough in the situation where these in past dynasty, like a 4-2 might not have meant something, but maybe now it will.
I still don't think it does. Hey. But to jump to your current question here, is Walker a sell high?
I think he's a hold. I think
he's a hold all day.
And family, you know my general opinion about Ken Walker. He showed out the last several weeks of the season, and we saw we saw what he could do when he wasn't burdened by having Zach Charbonnet switch him out all the time. This has been always what Ken Walker was. It's just that would the coaching staff give him 20 plus carries? If the coaching staff decides to give him 20 plus carries, he's going to be tremendous. There's your boy, Jonathan Brooks, Joe, round 17.
I love Jonathan Brooks. Guys, you guys should be stocking up in Jonathan Brooks. I mean, that's just an answer. I believe he is the starter there. Get a starter in the 16th, 17th round is a win.
And so when I look at things and I say, you know, what could become of Ken Walker? Damn it. What could become of Ken Walker? I think great things. I think there's great things in the future here.
I definitely believe in the potential of Ken Walker.
For Ken Walker.
I'm excited because I'm just logging in on the phone on the next one. And be totally blunt with you. I'm not going to let this mess up on me again.
All right.
So you said we're in you're in the 17th now. So you're getting close to the end here.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, you guys be more than welcome to jump with us in the next draft we're going to do. Obviously, we'll give you the time. It will still be a little board on Underdog. We're going to do all 20 of my picks live on air. It's one of the things I told you I'd commit we do here on Local Football Flavor. You get to see all 20 of my little boards as we're drafting them as they have a cap. Obviously, I can't show you the bigger caps because we don't go on the air that much. And there's times when I'm drafting in compromised positions. I've told you this before. I'm going to tell you it again. Do not drink and draft. It does not work out that well.
Yeah, no one's selling Brooks right now. People on like Reddit and stuff will be like, Brooks is dead in the water. You don't want Brooks. And then 20 seconds later, they'll propose a trade to you for like, will you give me Jonathan Brooks for 2 4th-round picks? No.
Brooks is the guy I want.
Yeah, I mean, I like Devin Neal, but I mean, with the impending thing that Jeremiah Love could go to the Saints, he gets less appealing.
I kind of think it's setting up Jeremiah Love to the Saints, and I am loving the Saints offense right now. I think Juwan Johnson is still a great pickup. He showed good chemistry with Shook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it takes a lot for me not to bet on Tampa Bay because of how organizationally sound they are to win that division.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see New Orleans making a play here for next year. I think that Kellen Moore is a great coach. And I don't have any problem with the fact that Shook's 90 years old as a rookie. So that's the realities. I think it's a good spot. It's a lot better than the other ones.
There goes my boy Gunnar Helm.
You know, Carolina's going to implode again. Like, I have no idea what Carolina's over-under is going to be. I will bet so hard on the under, I'm going to break my screen. Like, I know that already.
That's fair.
I mean, it could be 7.5 and I'm hitting the under on it.
That's fair. All right, so I have a weird build going here. It's 2-8-7-1. I usually don't like to take that many running backs, but with the kind of draft that I've had, I gave myself a little bit more running backs that could smash.
So you said 2-8-7-1. So you got 2 tight ends for your last 2 picks?
I'm gonna take I wanted Njoku there, but he went. So I guess this will be a draft where I don't take Njoku, which is fine. Yeah, I'm probably going to take a tight end here, and if I don't like another tight end on the board, I'll probably just run it with a wide receiver. The wide receiver that I like taking later here and taking some shots on is Jalen Royals.
I get that. You loved him last year.
Loved him last year. With the Rice situation, with Xavier Worthy, got hurt last year. Kelsey, will he retire? Will Noah Gray come
in? Will Hollywood retire?
Do well? Will Hollywood stop? Will they get rid of Juju? There's a lot of questions.
They're about to have a lot of turnover in that room because they had no receiver success.
There's a lot of questions to ask yourself.
Dude, by the way, I totally forgot Juju was still there. That's how irrelevant Juju was.
And, do I go Kate Otten here? I'm going to.
So, family,
I'm going to go Dynasty first. And
is Willis a sell on the hype? And is Mac Jones likely going to stay in San Francisco? I think that the Niners are one of the most underreported, difficult teams to work with. They just are. And that's going to make it harder for Mac Jones to see the light of day. Willis is a free agent, and there's 6 teams that need a quarterback. So I wouldn't mind holding Willis to see where he ends up because the hype is real and it's only going to get louder as the combine kind of shows this is a weak crop. And then free agency is like, all right, we got to get Willis.
Do we go with Muth
that's
again?
That's happening right now with the Senior Bowl setups.
Joe, if I'm only taking 2 tight ends here, how do you like Muth or Otten?
I would go Muth ahead of Otten.
Okay. I'm only going to take 2 tight ends because I took McBride. I invested heavily in him early. I didn't get Njoku or any of the other guys that I liked, so I'm just going to roll with Pat Fryermuth.
And my argument for Muth and Otten actually has nothing to do with the players. It's all about their situation. There's 3 real pass catchers in the receiver room in Tampa.
I will be right back.
There is 1 receiver in all of New Orleans. So that's just the facts of life right there. So you get a little monologue time with Joe until Bob comes back, and that's pretty fun. You guys don't get that all the time. So again, this being a tight end centric episode, there is a lot of overhyping the early tight ends, I believe. I think that McBride is really a potential trap because he got so much push whenever Brisket came in that you're not going to get a super fed guy. Same with Wilson, by the way, in Arizona. It's a new staff coming in. It has to be a new quarterback, which, by the way, Willis in Arizona could be fun because Willis actually watches this thing called tape that Kyler Murray refused to do. I think that there is a potential, more likely than not, that McBride gets a decrease in targets. And if they figure out how to use Marvin Harrison Jr. because a competent quarterback arrives, McBride's going to lose target share to the better athlete in Marvin Harrison Jr. He's the one out of the entire Arizona core that I want the most. I think he's priced cheaper than he ought to be. So that's one of the other things that I looked at. Family, you're asking a question about some guys that I talked about earlier. I am really fading Scary Terry, and to the point where I know I'm fading him so hard, he's never going to end up on my roster. Like, I'm letting other people take Scary Terry in this draft and the foreseeable future.
Like me.
Yeah, like you. The guy is old. I mean, there's just no nice way to say that anymore. And he's on a team that everyone else is old and imploding. I get it. Washington's got to throw the ball to somebody. But if they go first round, second round receiver,
Joe.
It's not going to be Scary Terry anymore.
Joe, it's the logical fallacy. The ball doesn't necessarily have to be thrown anywhere. We learned this from Justin Fields.
Yeah, they could be on the bench. That's true.
There's
you ready to fire another
big
one
chance. Yeah. There's a very big chance the ball doesn't go anywhere. All right, you ready?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, go.
Go.
And then I'll take control on this one, Bob.
Okay. So when I look at this, okay, we have a year with injuries, quarterback play, poor quarterback play at times, injuries to him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He only played in 10 games this year, Terry McLaurin. And yeah, he's through. But the fact of the matter is that I'm looking at that game against Denver this year where he had 14 targets, 7 receptions. I'm looking at these games where he has 7 receptions, 6 receptions. And if you go back to 2024, and that's the year that they made the playoffs, and that was one of his best years from a statistical, like from a touchdown standpoint. This is a guy that when you look at his stats from last year was last year was the first year since his rookie year where he did not go for 1,000 yards because he was hurt. And 2024 was the first year where he got above 10 touchdowns because of the poor quarterback play that had been prior in Washington. So if I'm looking at it and I'm looking at where that possible outcome could be this year, if he is healthy and Jaden Daniels is healthy and the coaching staff decides that, hey, we're going to do all of these things with these players, even if we have Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey come up, there is going to continue to be a role for Terry McLaurin in best ball. Would I want to take him so high in redraft? Probably not, because he's not smoking you with 100-yard games all the time.
Hey, by the way, did any of you guys jump in this draft with us to give love to him? I am obviously the 6th spot. Bob is the 8th spot.
Where his value is going to be at is where I took him prior in that 5th, 6th round. Is I'm willing to take chances on a guy that I know can get to 1,000 yards and potentially get 7 touchdowns in the 5th round. Because all outcomes aside, it's those the 1st, 2nd, 3rd round realistically are the guys that are really going to, smoke those the touchdowns. And if he can even get close, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying?
I am what you're saying. I'm interested to see where you're going here with the choice between Cook, McCaffrey, and Amah. Cook, baby.
I went Amon-Ra last time. We'll go Cook this time.
It's amazing how the different builds play out, though.
Peanut's in at 2. Nice. Peanut went Gibbs. King is at 10. Love it.
All right, love it, guys. Love the family atmosphere of the drafts.
I picked up McBride in another league.
1st round. Wow.
I picked up I picked up McBride in another league. You would laugh at it. Was 6 players and 2 picks for him and John. Hey, I'm okay with something like that. I'm absolutely okay with that. Not sure that guy at 9 meant to take Devonta Smith, but
no, I'm pretty sure that was he built a queue and it got taken early. Because if you're going heavy Eagles, you take Saquon first.
Yeah, that's fine. Gave King a gift there at 10.
Sure did.
Don't mind that. Don't mind if I do. It's what King's over there saying. Don't mind if I do. So we still have a couple of guys, like I was saying earlier, that I like on the board. Fresco there went with Achane and McBride, and typically speaking, that's where McBride is going to go. I'm going to queue up some guys here. Neighbors, I like Neighbors. Will he come back healthy? Fully healthy is the question. It's really fun to do sometimes when you take Amon-Ra, take Jefferson, and call your team Kings of the North. What's up, Jesse? Going there with London. So I'm curious what this guy does now.
He's got to take Saquon, right?
Or he just shits on everything and takes somebody that's out of like 5 rounds out of the queue, and then this draft gets canceled anyway.
Bob, you are all about the thing getting canceled. They don't get canceled. You were in one.
I told you, Grant, this draft is getting canceled. 1,000% getting canceled. He just took Grant Calcaterra. All right, guys. Well, we know this draft is going to get canceled. We're going to play it out. I'm going to talk as if this draft is still happening.
You have to.
I know it's going to cancel it. I'm telling you, they did it whenever it's like 4 to 5 to 7 rounds out, like they cancel it. So this is getting canceled. I'm just going to play it out like it doesn't, and we're just going to talk anyway.
Yeah. Well,
what's up, RM?
I hate when you just declare things are going to get canceled because it's not always the case.
It's definitely the case.
Still got to run hard through the finish line.
I mean, everybody is in the hopes that it doesn't, but we know it's going to. We can report it right now, or you can report it. I'm pretty sure.
No, the point is you don't report it. You want it to not get canceled because you're getting the extra value.
Yeah, Devonta Smith wasn't enough, but Grant Calcaterra is. He's an undrafted guy. So I'm curious what this guy does anyway. But because this one's kind of like a trash one, we should rack up a different one after this.
Oh, no, it's still going to take an hour to do.
Not with this guy. Everybody knows what they want right now. But typically speaking, these 4 running backs, though, Joe, if the top end goes wide receiver, those running backs fall. If the top end goes running back, those wide receivers fall. So it's really interesting to see that and to see the level of like where Nico goes. Because in the last one we just had, you're seeing like a 5-spot differential depending on how that distribution of players goes. And I think it's really realistically really, really interesting. You took your boy Kyron.
Well, I'm looking at the Rams situation like this, is that if Stafford does retire, they're going to have to be more run-centric, regardless of who they put in there. And Kyron's a natural successor. natural beneficiary. Plus, I like him a whole lot more than Brees Hall. I was debating Bucky there, but I own Bucky a lot.
Well, I can't. It sucks because it's like, oh, how do you not take him in the third round? I've been taking him a lot in the third round.
Well, let's see if his Q's done or if he's back to auto picking Josh Allen.
Yeah, it could be. Daniel Jones, yeah, same how he's done. What a troll! What a troll! All right, let's just rack up another one, guys. Like, let's just let this one go to auto, and let it figure itself out, because that's absurd. Right? We know it's going to get canceled now.
Bob, I'm actually going to play this out because I get that this is what's happening, but they might not. They don't always put it to auto.
Daniel Jones, Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Diggs, Kittle, Hawks to 202 and 2 and second and 28 for McBride. That's a crazy offer. That's a lot of stuff for a team that might need to rebuild. I like that family for you. So should we be selling Stafford where we can? I think so. With everything that we know, he probably wants to come back for one more year to try to win that Super Bowl. But realistically speaking, will he have as good of a year as he had this year? There's a framework where he absolutely can have a great year, but I do think that I'm selling for the price, because here you got to strike where the iron is hot. I think when it comes to a guy like Stafford, and people look at it, they look at him, they had a great year. And so sell as if he had a great year, knowing that you don't believe that he's going to have as good of a year next year. And if you'd rather build and try to trade him for picks that might net you one of the top quarterbacks, etc., in the coming draft, I think there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'll be trying. That's what I would be trying to do if I were in a bunch of dynasty leagues. And knowing this, and Joe, realistically, knowing this draft is going to get thrown out, I might take a rookie wide receiver early. I don't know.
Again, Bob, you don't know that.
I know it. I know it for a fact. And here's why.
No, they don't throw it if someone throws the draft. What they do is if someone gets a stacked draft that shouldn't be able to be made. They're going to basically just say this guy threw his money away and that's going to be the end of it.
Well, maybe. Maybe they'll do that too. But what they told me when I was in the playoff contest, what they told me is because I took a player, again, it was late at night after the Steelers win on that game against the Ravens. I accidentally queued up and I wasn't paying attention, and I took Gainwell fairly early. Because I queued up Gainwell and it was like 6 rounds before he should have gone, they were like, we had to cancel it because of that.
Well, the key thing there is that was a 4-man draft instead of a 12-man draft.
Hey, it's just what they said.
I'm just telling you, it's different rules on that. See if he goes with another Eagle. Because clearly he queued them all up.
Different strokes for different folks. If we ever meet this guy again, we know that he is throwing that money away. It's too extreme. It's way too extreme. Like if that Grant Calcaterra would have been like Jordan Tyson, they would have.
Here's the thing: is like finally.
There goes Hurts. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. I hate it when people are that like stupid.
You also love it.
And that's the thing, family, is that when you're striking with the irons hot with a guy like Stafford, is that there are times where if you need a 1-year rental, sure. But if you're building for the future and you see a couple guys that you can immediately get Stafford into, or a couple picks that you can move Stafford into, I think that this is the time to do it, because even if he doesn't retire this year, maybe you could say that he has 2 or 3 more good years left, right? And so what would those good years continue to look like? Will they continue to look like he had this year, or will they continue to look at like they did the year before? What will that be? Right. And those are the kind of things to think about. I think in the end, if I'm in a dynasty league, the wide receiver that I'm probably looking at there would be QJ out of those 3. realistically speaking. We'll go here. I'm just so curious who he wants to take now. Probably because he can't take any more shitty Eagles players. Who does he go into here?
Oh, there's more Eagle players within the queue, dude. There's all the receivers that are the back end ones forever.
Like Jahan Dotson. I think we should play a game. Who do we think? What shitty Eagle does he think we take next?
Dotson makes sense.
Jahan Dotson. Dallas Goedert. The Goads.
Oh, he's getting into the actual starters now, though. I mean, there's something.
That's weird. That's so weird.
That is what it is.
And there you go. At the back half, at the front half of the 6th round again, I picked Terry McLaurin. It's just I also like Marvin Harrison Jr. I know he's going to probably go somewhere up in here, Joe, from that 68 to 77, probably before he gets back to you.
I'm hoping he gets back to me. I am.
But I absolutely have no problems smashing a couple Marvin Harrison Jr.'s.
My debate was him or Pitts there.
I do question how many crappy Eagles are out there, I guess.
We're going to find out.
My last team with Stafford was Herbert, Love, Willis, so I can move off him. Yeah, I think moving off of Stafford in that case is perfectly fine because you have two, he's your third quarterback on Superflex. Willis is probably going to get a starting job this year. Stafford, if you weren't going to move Stafford now, moving him in the offseason or moving him as the season progressed would probably be something you would do. He knows that A.J. Brown is gone, so Devonta Smith is going to be the number 1 overall wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And if you force it, you force it, right?
Yeah, and this is the thing. WFN, you're absolutely right. With him taking the full 30 seconds, you can tell he's trying and putting in effort.
No, that just means he hasn't been put on the auto draft yet. He built his queue before this started.
No, you can only be put on the auto draft at X amount of time, Joe. That's a fact. So, once after the first 3 rounds, if you're not here, it automatically puts you on auto draft. This guy is thinking. He's using the full 30 seconds.
No, I think he's just filling in his queue, and then it's going down to 90 seconds. It's going down the full 30 seconds. This is an interesting science experiment, is what this is.
Fair, I guess. Fair.
You're so upset by this. Oh, by the way, Harrison did come back to me. That was
Harrison did come back to you. Yeah. I mean, you went Kyle Pitts. That's kind of gross of you. I appreciate that.
Well, I went Kyle Pitts because of the coach. He forces that ball to a tight end like crazy. It's just the way it is.
Well, the guys up in my queue here were QJ, Marv, Jaden Daniels, and Warren. So with Warren being the last one, had to, So I got 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers. If this is not, there goes Alec Pierce, right on schedule. Maybe he thinks he's going to be an Eagle next year.
Maybe he's finally on auto draft. His queue's over.
Yeah, maybe he is finally on auto draft now because that was a fast pick. All right, let's look. All right, so the next one up for him would be like Tucker Kraft. So let's see where he goes with this.
No, it'll go by ADP. It'll be Michael Wilson.
Yeah, but I think Michael Wilson gets taken by King maybe.
Yeah, the top 3 right now are Wilson, Evans, and Kraft.
King's got a nice team going in terms of the wide receiver room. There goes Evans. Probably wouldn't have taken
he was upset he got put on auto. Let's go find another Eagle. Is it one of you guys watching right now, by the way?
No, King is there. We
could have a stealth watcher who's trying to tank the draft.
Nah, I don't know.
Team players are better than that.
Yeah, he took Michael Wilson. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go Tucker Kraft. Our boy Tucker Kraft. I forget what viewer loves Tucker Kraft. Was it you, family? Somebody we were talking last year and loved Tucker Kraft in the offseason.
Many should.
A little Pearsall action, Joe. I don't mind that at all. DJ
Moore. I don't mind
Pearsall
as a third receiver, man. I actually pretty happy with how the receiver room is falling to me right now. I was a little concerned when I put Judkins on the roster that I was going to get bumped out.
Mm-hmm.
But I said before, with where the ADPs are sitting right now, I'm loving this 7th to 10th round receiving.
All right, you got to explain something to me.
Explain it.
I know you. And I know you love running backs.
Yeah.
It was you, family. And I know you love running backs, but you took Travis Etienne.
I did.
Explain.
I love running backs, and you look at the ones thereafter. It was a debate between, at that point, was Etienne and Henderson. Etienne is a clear number one, and there's no doubt about it. So I just went with the clear number one.
Yeah, but he might not even be on Jacksonville next year.
I'm also okay with that. If you move for a player, you use a player, especially at running back. He's going to be a number one.
Okay. All right. I mean, I get it. I understand what you're saying. I just, it's not a player that you're one to taking very often.
I am definitely not. But I believe in volume of the starters.
But why not Scat or Henderson, your boys?
Because Scatterboo is not my boy. I don't believe you can win a playoff game with him because he'll never be in a playoff game. He'll always be hurt. Like I said, Henderson was the debate I was talking about, but I'm not sure Stevenson's going away.
Okay.
And then that's just a stack for CD.
Okay. I get it. I'm there.
Keeping it basic.
Keeping it basic. It's fair. All right. We're going to take Mr. Worthy. Probably. See, this is the tough part. I have enough running backs that I don't need to necessarily take one here. But coming back down, 113, 128. Yeah, because you see here that guy who in the last draft who took Arondé Gatson in the 6th round, he's trying to find it, like he's taking him way above where his closing line value will be. So that's not like there are going to be other better teams with him on it.
Yeah, that's kind of the point where you don't want to do crazy reaches,
which is a fundamental problem there. Now, I'm very curious about Wan'Dale, man. Like over the last 2 years, like he crushed it in terms of receptions, but he's been like just at the line of scrimmage all the time. Like I'm so curious about him. We're going to take, this will be another
Bo Nix for every draft again. This will
be another Bo Nix. I mean, I wasn't gonna. I definitely wasn't gonna, but again, this guy here is starting to go on ADP. So yeah, he's definitely like, the computer's like, oh, I should have done something there. Yeah. Coker Schultz in the 211 for Kraft. I mean, yeah, sure. I would do that. I do like Kraft a lot, and I think that that's a fair deal for a guy of Kraft's caliber. I was thinking about Jordan Love there, Joe. That's why that was my thought because I have Tucker Kraft.
Well then, yeah, you probably should have because you don't got any.
Yeah,
ever.
I love sending away a lot of players for studs this time of year, then raid the waivers. I think that's a smart play. I mean, I think that's a brilliant play. And you're right. When you look here in the 9th round of this draft specifically, and I know we had like that clusterfuck that was up there. But realistically speaking, when you look at this 8th, 9th round, there are some really good values here potentially for wide receiver. And, the tight end situation, Laporta was injured last year, but he can easily return to a top-notch kind of talent for that team. So, you look at last year. Last year was 40 receptions. The year before that was 60 receptions. And his first year in the league, he was 88 receptions or 86 receptions. Right?
Who took Shook that early? Bro.
That's right around where his ADP is sitting at right now.
Actually, his ADP was my pick next round. That was a round early.
I get it.
It was a round early. I'm not very happy about that.
I get it. I understand.
So the other guy I was debating with, I obviously went with Ferguson, is Woody Marks. Obviously, I didn't choose Woody Marks. And here's part of the reason why. I think he's getting outdrafted. I mean, I get that his situation was good, but
I've taken Woody a couple times. I've taken Woody a couple times, and I'm okay.
I think you're drafting a backup running back. And as long as you're accepting drafting a backup running back, that's okay. but that's what he is.
Yeah, I mean, you might not be wrong about that, realistically speaking.
Pretty sure I know I'm not wrong about that.
It's a big, I mean, it's definitely a big question mark in terms of what's going, like, how is that going to work out for Houston in general? Like, is Houston even going to be good next year? Because it seems like their offensive line got a little bit better, but not like leaps and bounds better. And so you have to kind of ask yourself, it's like, will the running back room continue to suffer? And oh, hey, by the way, Joe Mixon is still there.
Yeah,
right?
question mark. I love the inflection there at the end.
So, like,
Tyrone Tracy gets slept on always. Why is he still on the board in the 12th round?
Well, new head coach, Harbaugh.
He's still a dude, man.
Will they utilize him more?
Dude.
I mean, if you are under the assumption that Scadaboo is going to hurt himself again, then Tracy in the 12th round is a huge steal. Huge.
I think Tracy's a huge steal.
If you don't operate under that assumption, then that's fine. But I think that a lot of people can and do operate under that assumption, and they're okay passing on where Scadaboo. I mean, Scadaboo in the 4th, that's really high price to pay. When you look back, I mean, over the course of the time that he was healthy, he had a total of 7 touchdowns, and a total of 617 all-purpose yards on 125 touches. So if you extrapolate that over the course of a year, assuming that he's healthy, I mean, he's in for a banger of a season. But the question mark is, will he be? PP going with Kittle as a second tight end to pair with Brock Bowers, I believe it was there. Love that for you, P. Your team is strong, man. I think that in the wide receiver and tight end market, I think you do have, and this is just a variation of how I would have done things. I probably would not have taken 2 rookie running backs to pair along with Algier, because if Atlanta moves Algier, that's one less position for one of these rookie running backs, and that does worry me a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. All right. So do we take a chance on him? Yeah. We're going to take my boy. I got to go with my boy. He's been in a lot of these.
He was my debate. I know. I love me some McMillan as well.
I just can't. I can't. I'm not saying that McMillan is going to have a banger year. But when we look at the situation, and this is again presuming that a guy like Evans has the potentiality to retire because he's been in the league for a long time. We go back and we look at the last 2 years, and last year, I mean, this year he breaks his neck, right, Joe? Mm-hmm. Breaks his neck.
It's a problem.
And then comes back, breaks his neck and comes back. And in the 3rd game back, he has 114 receiving yards. Are you kidding me?
No one is fighting. The guy's a trooper.
I mean, like, you break your neck and you come back. And if he hadn't have broken his neck, he would have been in it for a tremendous season. Right? I mean, like, again, like, I can't say enough good things about Jalen McMillan. Can't do it. Can't say enough good things about him. And I just went with Adonai Mitchell there. Again, Adonai Mitchell in a couple of games that he was over there with the Jets. It's something to be excited about. I have 2 Jets wide receivers, which is not something to be excited about,
Bob. That's like saying obscene things in front of children. You shouldn't do that.
But, who is their quarterback going to be? I don't even know.
It might be Malik Willis.
Could be Malik Willis, and then I'm in for a time.
It could still be Fields.
It could still be Fields, and that would be the grossest timeline.
We live in a gross time, man. You're taking Jets and stuff.
I might take a third Jet.
Dude, that's the reason they would kill this draft. I took 3 Jets willingly. Game.
I might take 4 Jets.
Man, like talk about throwing up in your mouth a little bit.
Joe, right now, my queue does have 2 Jets in it.
I can proudly say my queue has 6 players left and 0 of them are Jets.
All right, I'm gonna take one of those Jets out of the queue.
Actually, let's hope you take more than one of them.
I'm gonna take them out of the queue.
You should actually tell the system. I would actually rather fire Adeline Mitchell and not have him in my draft just out of team unity.
Would I sell a 27-second for a guy like Worthy? Yeah, I think I would. I know that draft type is real, but like I know realistically, I want players that are playing now. You know, like I'm not sitting around and waiting for players that aren't playing.
And that's the right call. Dude, I almost took Shador.
Did you? Was that a mistake?
No, Jonathan Brooks was not a mistake, but I'm just like, my last pick you're gonna hate. I can tell you that already.
Well, I mean, I already hate it now, so
you just make sure I'm not doing this around early. I had 5 left. This is right.
I think it's funny.
I got myself a nice little Cowboy stack here. Getting CD in the tight end.
Yeah, nice. I'm actually gonna go for a running back here, Joe, that you're gonna ask me questions about. But I feel good about this guy going into next year, depending on where he's going to land. NFL Pro Bowler Shador. Fields is cheap. Fields is cheap. And
I hate that sentence is correct.
And again, we'll take a look at Justin Fields in a moment, but watch this pick. Ready? Boom. Big dog himself, Brian Robinson Jr.
He's going to jump up some boards.
Shooter McGavin. Is he going to be on San Francisco next year? Probably not.
If he is, he's jumping up boards.
But 211 as the ADP. I picked him at 185, a little bit ahead of where I would.
Anyone that's in the 2s, you can take whenever you want. I mean, this draft has proven that.
Realistically, would I've rather built out Tesla or Harris? Yeah, sure. But I think that there's a lot to play on for him there.
Well, I'm treating these last 6 picks as my team differentiation. I mean, realistically, if you're most of your starters in a week to week, you got in your first 14 rounds. So these are my team differentiation guys to make things stand out. Yeah, and you look at the back end receivers I got Shaheed and Harris. They're both high ceiling, low floor guys.
I like the idea.
That's what I want. I don't want a high floor guy down here.
I really do like the idea of Harris. I'm going to be popping a wide receiver and a tight end soon. Is Tucker Kraft, maybe he doesn't play week 1. Maybe
he doesn't.
But I do agree with you that, like guys like Mixon, guys like Brian Robinson Jr., Braylon Allen was the Jet, by the way, was one of the Jets. The other Jet is a tight end, so it's not like I'm getting like frisky or anything. It's probably going to be their best positional players. I mean, that's the crazy thing about the Jets is like you can get their best positional players in the 4th round and beyond. There goes Mason Taylor. Saved me from myself. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go with Torrey Horton. I think that Torrey Horton showed me enough last year in limited play that if they decide to give him more time, if Cooper Kupp decides to retire after the Super Bowl here.
Unless Shaheed takes it. But it's a valid risk.
Shaheed could take it too, but also and I agree that Shaheed could take it, but Shaheed's in the 13th round and Horton's in the 17th.
No, I get it. So, I totally get the risk reward of what you're playing here. Benson,
Brooks, Dell in a row. People are rolling dice. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have rolled with Dell necessarily, but okay, you know, sure.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people who are playing it straight that are getting some good values. Like,
I do
love
think
DK.
I do think Connor ahead of Benson is a little absurd. Oh, there goes Ninjoku. King, killing me, man. Killing me. Loving my boy. Loving my boy. It's fine.
So we'll see if we get the official movement that what went down here.
That's fine. What about what? I'm gonna
dude, Hawk dropping is really being surprising. He's not going to be in the league next year.
Yeah, Horton was a buy in terms of dynasty until Shaheed. I would agree with that. But I still think
Hunter
he is.
Helm.
Helm,
Bob. Look at that.
He definitely moves. He's out. He's not coming back to Cleveland.
Ninjoku. Oh yeah, no doubt.
I think his contract, whatever. I think they voided the last like 2 years of the contract, or something. And so
the contract has void years. He's a free agent, but
Yeah.
Cleveland has to eat the cap hit.
And I think that he's out. I think that, and even if he's not, I do think that he's a good talent, and he's the reason why I would not take Fannin that early, despite me really liking Fannin.
Oh no, once he's gone, Fannin becomes all the more valuable.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's say he goes and you wait and you're waiting on a guy like Fannin. Fannin then jumps up in the rankings. Like he goes from a 4th round to, potentially a 3rd rounder, depending on how people look at him.
So, Bob, my team is going to say I'm going to finish with 3 quarterbacks. My team has 2 quarterbacks on it. I just want to point that out. What my last pick?
Are you taking Will Howard?
I'm gonna.
Luke
McCaffrey has been my version of your Tanks Bigsby for the last 3 seasons, and I'm okay with that as a second last round pick.
Fair. I don't hate you for it. I really don't. I'm okay.
Dude, Shador's still on the board, though.
Shador is still on the board. And everybody after you has 2 or 3 quarterbacks already. I like that Brazel pick. I don't really know how to say his name, but I like the pick. I would be buying Ninjoku cheap. If I can get him for 3rd rounders, yeah. Again, like when we look at Ninjoku,
oh, there goes Shador. Good.
Ninjoku is not like, again, let me make my pick here, and then I'll talk about Ninjoku. We still got Rashad, your boy Rashad Bateman still on the board, Joe.
Tillman's my boy before Bateman. Dude, I was looking at Tillman like the 6th round last year, and now he's going in the last pick as this great value.
Great value. Tremendous value. All right. Do I go with a 3rd tight end? Do we go with the Tongies? Do we go with a rookie? What do we do here? What do we do? Do we go with a Green Bay wide receiver?
You got Love.
You know what? I'm not going to take 3 tight ends. We're going to go with the optics wonder, the Dontavian Wicks. I don't think he's a tremendous player by any means, but somehow they still keep giving him play. I don't understand that.
I can't take Will Howard as much as I want to click that button.
Do it. What's life without risk? Come on, do it.
Give me the roll.
Boo. I made that pick the other day and you laughed at me.
Well, Ty Simpson's starting somewhere. It's like the story you want to have.
I made that pick the other day and you laughed at me.
I know, because I just took a Jets starting quarterback. I feel very sad about it.
Tillman, R.I.P. Tillman. I mean, RIP to like most of the Browns. I mean, I have a Brown. You know what's gross about my roster, Joe? I have a Titan, 2 Jets, a Commander, a Brown. Or actually, I have 2 Titans. 2 Titans.
I mean, garbage time is real. Let's not ignore that.
I think I got a good team, though. I mean, all things the same. Let's take a look at these teams since a couple of the people in the chat are here. So let's look at
yeah, they're all going to be a little bit slightly inflated because of this Schrader, but
yeah, but he evened himself out a little bit in there. And if this draft sits, it's ships. It's okay. So King, let's take a look at King's team here first.
Which is Amah, London, Allen, Brees, Lemon, Waddle, Pollard, Evans, Kincaid are your first
so
nine
looking at it here, like I think with this 20th round edition here, you know, like me, I'm one to get away from my ways sometimes. It's either 2 quarterbacks or kind of 3 or 4 quarterbacks. But looking at his team here with Kings, you got a great top half there with Josh Allen and Baker. I think Baker's going to be fine at his ADP value. Your running back room is solid. Like I said, this strategy here, I think, is pretty good because you look at it and you say, okay, I'm going to get one top flight running back. I'm going to wait till the 2nd round to do it. Or I'm going to wait till the 3rd round to do it. Because there's Brees Hall's still there. He's still, I think, a top flight.
No, he got Hall in the 4th.
Yeah, pick 39, yeah. So when I look at it and I say, all right, I pair that up with Pollard, Tracy, Vidal, Singleton, Allen, Caleb Johnson. I need one of those guys to hit in a week. It's likely that one of them hits for at least a 10, right? Hopefully. Caleb Johnson, I think, is a nice sleeper selection because if McCarthy says they're going to run the ball more, they drafted him last year. You got to assume that maybe he gets a little bit more play this year.
I hope.
Then you go to the wide receiver room here. Amon-Ra, Drake. Joe, we're not going to share your opinions about Drake. Rookie and Lemon, and then Waddle, Evans, Reed, and then another rookie. I think it's fine if you want to take a high-profile rookie and then come back with a little rookie. I think that's great. I'm just not – you guys know I love Jane Reed on the show, but I'm pretty much done drafting him. We look at it and say, you know, with Waddle there and Evans there, I think that Mike Evans, I would not have taken him necessarily, but I think that from a construction standpoint and then with the tight ends, going with Kincaid, Andrews, and Njoku. Andrews, I'm not really sure about, but Kincaid and Njoku, I think, are really great selections where they're being drafted. I mean, like, you're looking at Dalton Kincaid at pick 106 now, whereas before he was like top 4 or 5. And I think the Kincaid in the 9th is way more comfortable than Kincaid in the 4th or the 5th. Coming out here for PP, we have Lamar, Goff, and Mendoza. I think that that's a great trio of quarterbacks if Lamar can come back. We know Jared Goff isn't going to be throwing for 25 points every week, but you're hoping that maybe that balances out Lamar's bad weeks, and then you have Fernando Mendoza to kind of even that out a little bit. Gibbs, Algier, Price, Emmett Johnson, Kamara, Harris, and Pacheco. I'm not quite sure how I feel about taking guys that might be deemed old heads or injury risks here. You know, you always have the Kareem Hunts of the world that can pan out. But Kamara, I'm not quite sure that how the Saints feel about him going into next year. Najee, again, he's one of the players that was, hey, we paid for him. We're going to use him. They tried to use him. He blew out his eye.
Yeah.
So
will
they use him this year? And Pacheco, I don't even think he's that good. But that's just a me thing. I mean, like, he can be good, I guess, in certain situations. But it's like we want to keep making Isaiah Pacheco a thing. Like 2 years ago, we were drafting Isaiah Pacheco in the 2nd, 3rd round after his 7-touchdown season, right? Mm-hmm. And then 2024, he gets hurt. Last year, he hurts and sucks. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know what we're going to get because it seems like the 2023 and 2022 Isaiah Pacheco was his best. I don't think we're going to get better than that. And if you get him in the last round, sure, but he might not have a job if the Chiefs decide to go with Brees. The wide receivers, I think, are smashes all the way through Brian Thomas. You got Brian Thomas, DK, Zay, and Nico. Their values are great. Like I said, I think Zay is a nice buy where he's being bought at, similar to DK and BTJ. Trey Tucker, Bernard with the rookie, Marvin Mims, and then Omar Cooper with being another rookie. I don't think it's bad floating those rookies late. I don't think it's bad at all floating those rookies late. WFN said, I've been grabbing a bunch of Allen Hurts early at quarterback. I want some time to pass for QB ADPs to drop and some clarity on Arizona, Miami. And here's the thing, WF. This is the problem that I have with Allen specifically. I don't feel like the jump. So we know that Allen can go for 40 points. Okay. And when we look at the board, not really many other quarterbacks can get to that 40-point mark, but he's only realistically doing that a couple of times a season, right? And during those seasons, if it's the playoffs, yeah, you absolutely are going to need that to pop in the playoffs. But on average, you're going to want quarterbacks. And I broke down this stat on Monday, and I want to pull it up, Joe, right now. To kind of paint the framework of why this is something that I'm kind of like, I'm not about that right now. So let me pull up the Fantasy Pros week 1 through 18. And Joe, if you don't mind, can I share my screen here?
Yeah, do it.
While we talk about this. So share screen, we want to get this. Okay. So, as we take a look at the Fantasy Pros, and we'll take away week 18, of course, for you guys to see. But when we look at weeks 1 through 17 and we go to average, the variance in average from Josh Allen to, let's go to Caleb, and that's quarterback 6. You're looking at it and you're like, okay, well, that's like 4 points, 4 point some points. In a regular redraft league, I get it. Right. Yeah. 8% is perfectly fine. His ADP won't change. I fully agree with that. But where I'm kind of wanting to, and like I said, I'll be taking chances on Josh Allen because of that 38, because of that 44, and because of that 37. But realistically, I'm going to try to as these quarterback ADPs even out. You see here, like Bo Nix, and again, Bo Nix just had ankle surgery. He has some degenerative ankle thing. We'll see how that pans out. He's not sporting you. He got you 140, but he's not sporting you anything like super high. Herbie, who I kind of besmirched the other day with Mike McDaniel, could do a little bit better. He's got some 29s and those 30s in there. But where we're looking at, why I mention this though, is Jared Goff. Okay. Jared Goff has a 30 and a couple of those 20s in there, but mostly we're hovering low 20s. Jordan Love, he has some mid 20s in there, but again, low-ish. Jackson Dart, even when you even out his very high performances, it's still not like, that Jackson Dart in the 6 is not yet kind of where you really want to be buying Jackson Dart. You really do want that one to even itself out. But this Tyler Shook one, Tyler Shook in the 11th, 12th round, makes a lot of sense from an ADP perspective, right? You're looking at him and you're saying, okay, he's averaging about 14. He did not play because he was hurt. Then you look at after the bye, and you have a string of games, these 5 games here at the end of the year, where you're getting around 20-ish points. And that's one of those later round picks, which you're okay with. Now, Jane Daniels, I've been buying a lot of Jane Daniels, but there's no reason to think that he goes back up to 30. But if you're buying him that early, yeah, there is. Now you're going to see Shadur down here, and even Kyler down here in terms of average, right? But if you stack this up with average, you got Jackson Dart here at 17.4, Daniel Jones at 18. So when he comes back, that could be an interesting buy. The Jalen Hurts is always dependent upon his rushing. The Caleb one seems to make some sense because he has that high 30-point upside. But when you look at it in the game-by-game basis, it's like, do you want to invest in that? And then Trevor, in terms of his ADP, Joe, when we looked at where he got drafted this draft, he got drafted in round 7. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he's capable of putting up a lot of 20-point performances. And that, to me, if he's hitting that 20-point mark or that 20, like ideally I want a quarterback that's able to get above 25 points, but it's also the reason why, like a guy like Brock Purdy, back in the, where did he go in this draft? Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy went in the 10th round, right? So, like, you're welcome, Peanut. I'm not so much interested in buying that, and it's a similar discussion as we have with the tight ends a lot. And Jamie knows this when he was in here. We were talking about this. Is that I do want still to get a player that's going to have the chance to have those high breakout performances. And I think the two guys here that I'm looking at staring at us right in the face right now is Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy. I mean, these are guys that we go from, and let's even go back to 2024 to get kind of a framework about what we're looking at here. And you have Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar, Baker, all just crushing it, up above 350. And then you have down here with Hurts, Goff, Bo Nix again appearing again. Sam Darnold down here at 11th. And then here's Brock Purdy with 18.6. So again, he does get injured. He had a 5 and a 2. And you have a couple of those in the teens. But you see in 24, 22, a 32 in there. So, like, he has the potential to make it happen. And same with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes had a pretty pedestrian year in 2024 by comparison to what he's used to in the past. And even a guy like Dak, Joe, we talk about Dak on the show a lot. Dak was one of our guys going into last year.
Love Dak, baby. I love him.
And Dak is one of those players that performed well. Unfortunately, when you get down into these playoffs, he had a 12 in week 15, which doesn't help you. But again, could you have overcome that by other means? Sure. But if you were facing off against Trevor Lawrence, you were screwed anyway. If you were facing off against Bo Nix, you were screwed anyway. So it didn't quite matter. But like when I say that is like, if I'm looking here and I'm looking at top quarterback performances and I see here, absolutely at the end of the year, when I look at this here, and I just want to go through this very quickly because we'll get into this the next episode that we're on. How many times Josh Allen appears in the top 3? Because like looking at this, Joe, Justin Fields, look at this. Week 1, week 4, week 5, an Octo.
Justin Fields was a fancy dude. We commented on that, what that could be going into it.
Let's look at this. What? Week 1, Josh Allen overall 1. Week 2, not in the top 5. Week 3, 5th. Week 4, not in the top 5. Week 5, not in the top 5. Week 6, not in the top 5. Week 7, not in the top 5. Week 8, not in the top 5. Week 9, 3rd. Week 10, Davis Mills was number 1. Josh Allen.
That's so gross.
Not in the top 5. Josh Allen, number 1 again. Week 12, Jameis Winston, number 1. Josh Allen, not even in the top 5 because he probably had a bye that week. Week 13, not in the top 5. Week 14, so he had a bye week 7, which was the reason why he wasn't in the top 5. Bo Nix was there at the top. Week 12, or week 13, Patrick Mahomes. Week 14, Josh Allen, number 1. Week 15, Josh Allen, number 6. Week 16, Josh Allen not in the top 5. And in your final game of the season, if you're in best ball, etc., Josh Allen was outside of the top 5 again. The only reason I say this is because if I'm taking Josh Allen as the number 1 quarterback overall in the year, I need to be, and if I'm sacrificing the positional value of a wide receiver or a running back, he has to overperform to a high extent almost every week. And you just heard it, you just saw it, that even though he's the highest average quarterback last season, on average at 22, that is behind the average of 2024. It's also behind the average of 2023 that he set, and it's behind
you guys are living the argument, baby,
of 2022. So if he can get back to, if he can get that average to be up by 2 points every game, I could see a reason to do that. But as it sits right now, it doesn't feel like the 44 points is nice when he gets it, especially in a redraft league, especially in best ball. But I'm just not sure. And I'm going to take chances on Josh, like WFN said. But the value in the third round, if I'm taking you in the third round, you have to basically be lights out Lamar Jackson 2024, right? Or you have to be Josh Allen of 2023. Or you have to be Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen of 2022. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm not saying he can't get back to doing that again, because it's well within his purview to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's done it in 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. So this year feels like an anomaly more so than anything else. But also when you look at Josh Allen, right, you go back to 2020, he was the number one quarterback. Mm-hmm. 2021, he was the number one quarterback. 2022, he was the second quarterback. 2023, number one quarterback. 2024, second quarterback. In 2025, number one quarterback again. So statistically speaking, yes, he is the number one quarterback, but I think the gap has closed a little bit in terms of that. But also, no quarterback this year went for 400 fantasy points. And that is unusual considering that in the last 5 years, there has always been at least one quarterback, right, who has been in the 400s, and that didn't happen this year, which seems to say that maybe there's a variance. Like, he didn't play week 18 this year. Sure, okay.
He was also hurt like all year.
He didn't play week 18.
That's the counter for that's going to be all ball, but he was hurt.
He also didn't play week 18 last year, and he played week 18 the year before that. So, like, could he have put up a 400-point year with 374? Yeah, he could have been the quarterback that would have done that among all the other quarterbacks. But is that enough positional value risk to sacrifice the running back, to sacrifice the extra wide receiver? Because if we go here and we go to where Josh Allen was drafted at 310, and players that he passed on basically were the Breece Halls, the Ken Walkers, the Jacobses of the world, and you go to those running backs here, you see that Jacobs had in 2025, Jacobs is sitting at running back 8. And you're sitting at Travis Etienne was running back 12. And Breece Hall was running back 20. Would you have rather had that or Josh and then taking another running back and then taking a quarterback later? There's a lot of decisions to be made within this discussion, but I just don't think it's as cut and dry from a fantasy perspective as people want to make it out to believe, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So am I going to take chances on him in the third round? Absolutely. I'm absolutely going to take chances on him in the third round. But do I need to have Josh as opposed to last year? You remember last year when we were talking about, we did a whole bunch of drafts that was just going after top flight quarterbacks. We said, here's what it's going to look like with a top flight quarterback. And then going back and saying, here's what it's going to look like with quarterbacks like this. We're going to do that again this year, guys, so you can just see that, so that, if you don't want to spend your money in that way, you'll see us doing that, and seeing if that's, hey, I like that strategy. Let's keep doing that. Or if we do something else, All right. But it's 5:30. We're going to head out until next week. Next week, we're going to be doing more little boards. We might sneak in a big board, but we'll be back Monday at 3:45, and we'll be back also Wednesday at 3:45. Like, follow, subscribe so you know when we're going to go live. And peace out, and good luck in any drafts you decide to do this week. Thanks.
And we're going to find out